Guys, welcome back to the BJJ SummerWeek podcast. My name is Darragh O'Connell. I'll be your host for this 30-minute session about coaching. We got about 5 minutes notice, so bear with us on the level of conversation here because we're basically freestyling. I'm here with James and Rafael. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm James Weed. I'm from Spokane, Washington. Have a gym out there, Newborn Cascal Jiu-Jitsu.
I'm Rafael Colonhese, and I'm from Spain. Originally from Brazil, but now living in Spain, Alicante, nearby Darragh.
Yep. That's it. So they wanted us to talk a little bit about coaching. Obviously, we're all coaches for a living. They kind of gave us 3 different topics to talk about: coaching kids, coaching hobbyists, and then coaching athletes. So I guess we'll start with coaching kids. I personally don't coach any kids. I had some experience. I used to play rugby before I got into jiu-jitsu, and I was coaching rugby as a job while I started doing jiu-jitsu. So I had to teach 5 to 9-year-old kids quite a lot. And I found it quite stressful, and I didn't quite have the patience for it. I don't mind to teach 10 to 15, teenagers kind of age, because I feel like you can treat them a bit more like adults.
So do you do 10 years old? Is that kind of...
I'll do it if Gabby isn't there, but I don't like to do it. Okay. But if I have to pick, I'm gonna do 10 to 15. I don't really like 5 to 10. I think that's it's a different thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. More playful, more ludic for them. You cannot go approaching a technique like you do with adults, right? It has to be fun.
Yeah.
Initially I did 5 years old. So initially I started at 5 years old. Then I think it was COVID happened. I came back and we went 6 years old.
Okay.
Then a little bit went by and I went 7 years old.
Aye.
And so now it's just 7 is the youngest. But even, and if the kid's goofy, too crazy, not paying attention, then I'll say, come back next year.
Yeah, I know Gabby always does a trial class, and it's not a trial class to see if the kid likes it. It's a trial class to see if the kid can be in the class and behave. Because you said, some kids at 4 or 5 or even 6, every kid is a little bit different, and sometimes she'll be like, look, I'm sorry, but your kid's just not able to be in the environment just yet. Maybe bring them back in 6 months or a year, something like that.
And I find out sometimes it's not even the kid, but sometimes the parents living through the kids.
Bro.
Oh yeah. That's the worst, man. That's the most hard part.
Yeah, when they're getting mad at their child, and I've had parents before. Someone will pass their kid's guard, and the kid would naturally just look across the room and just see their parent, and their parents just arms crossed.
That's crazy, bro.
And they're shaking their head at their kid, and yeah, I've had parents before where I go, you know what? If you want your kid to train here, drop them off, but you can't come inside.
Yeah, dead right, man. I had to, in my academy in Dublin, for a long time, the kids coach was letting the parents come into the mat and sit there. And eventually I was just like, look, guys, this can't happen, you guys have to stay outside. If you trust us to teach your kids, then trust us to teach your kids. It's not like you said, the kid is looking, again, I don't deal with it, but I'll be there just making sure everything's okay. And there'll be kids that are looking to the parent for approval. There's parents who are shouting things at the kids, and it's man, you don't even train.
Yeah, choke him,
you know
choke him. I'm like, the kid's 6 years old, man.
They always say I can't believe you tapped to that kid, right?
Yeah, he's not even good. And you're like, what the heck is?
I think it's very important the parents keep the pace and let the coaching, right? It's very nice to have only the kids on the mat and the parents waiting outside, because it's good for the kids also to have their independent feeling of dealing with their things by their own,
Definitely, man. And it's even if the parent is getting involved, there's kids that just see the parent and are running over to the parent, getting distracted by the fact the parent's there. So it's actually just easier for everybody if you're just left to do the job, and that's it,
Yeah, especially little ones. I used to teach 4 to 6 years old, the first age, and man, if the parents are in the room, they're looking for approval. Hey, look, I just did the front row.
For sure.
I think there's also an energy that you got to bring for kids in order to keep their attention and stuff. So you'll basically have to show up, and if you're tired, if you don't bring that energy, you'll just watch the kids fade, not pay attention. So it takes a lot physically out of you. Yeah. I've actually changed it, so now the days that I teach kids, I don't train afterwards. So when I first started my gym 15 years ago, I would teach in the morning, teach 2 kids classes, and then teach night. And then nighttime, I'd have some visiting black belt come in, and you're still at that stage where I gotta show them what's up, man. I gotta show them that we're a good gym, and all this kind of stuff. And and then you have all your competitors, and you have all those ones that you're rolling with as well. But you're just mentally shot because of that energy you got to bring for the children, and organizing them and keeping herding cats and doing all that stuff.
Exactly.
And so now that it's 15 years of having a gym, I have black belts under me and stuff like that. I make it a point. I train in the morning,
Yep.
teach in the morning for adults. I come back, I teach 2 kids class, and then I'm going home.
For sure.
You know, because I need my mind, I need a reset, and just kind of, you know, after that, you know. So yeah.
I think too. Speaking of like hobbyists, or especially with beginners too, I think that's very true for beginners. Also, the beginners, like, you need to have a lot of energy for adult beginners.
Yeah.
Like, it's their first experience with jiu-jitsu. You know, you need to have energy, both like for the techniques and for teaching, but also emotional energy to help them through. And, you know, you're going to see them being frustrated and tired and whatever. And, you know, you have to have that patience and time to give them energy. Whereas if you're tired too, it's like, that's their, you know, in their first 4 to 8 weeks, they're so vulnerable to stopping. It's like, you got to have that time and that energy to give to them. And I found the same thing too. Sometimes back in the days, I'd be training in the morning, training in the night class, and then I'm teaching beginners after, and I just don't have that same energy that I should have. And, you know, the more experienced class, I always say, it's like, those guys are already here. They're not really going anywhere. But the beginners, those are the people that are, you know, just getting into it. They need that energy and they need that enthusiasm. And I think that, like, the same way you're saying with kids, that you need to be on point with that energy for the newer people, because the other guys are already there, but, you know, you got to have that energy for the beginners. I think that's really important, you know.
I think the past, it's probably about 3 years, I actually only accept so many beginners at a time. So I've got to the point, which was scary when I first decided to do this, but I think it was actually right after COVID. I just remember coming to a class, and I have, you know, 2 UFC fighters, I have multiple world champions, Pan American champions. Like, we got a good sized comp team.
Nice.
Plus, of course, just people getting in shape and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I just remember coming in and having it was like right after COVID. So everybody goes, "You say I can't train? Watch this." Everyone wanted to train jiu-jitsu now.
And you're in a big town? It's like a big city?
No, it's Spokane, so it's like 4 hours outside Seattle.
How many people roughly?
I'm terrible at this. I have no idea.
No, just because, so the difference for us, we have one gym in Alicante, which is maybe 300,000 people, and my other gym, it's in Dublin. And actually, after a good while of being open in Dublin, we ran a similar model of only letting people start at this date, and you have to start in cycles of 8 weeks. Okay. So we would start a group of beginners, because I don't know you guys' experience, but one of the hardest things of teaching beginners I found is, like, you have a class, and let's say you have 10 people, and of these people, 9 of them have all been training for 2 or 3 months. They have a good base. They know what they're doing. And you have in your mind, okay, let's build on what we did last week.
Yes.
And then boom, Johnny, fucking whoever shows up, new guy, he doesn't know one thing.
Yeah.
And you're already working something that needs some context. And this is really, really hard. So what we started to do, and we were only able to do this because we're in a big city with a lot of demand. You can turn people down because you have so much demand, right? Like in Alicante, we're a 2 years old gym. We can't run the same model. If someone comes in, bro, start, you know, you got to start because we need to grow the gym, right? But in Dublin, we can say, nah, you got to wait until next month till you can start, wait for 2 months till you can start, because that's the way we do it. So that's why I was curious the size of the city, because, you know, the bigger the city, the more people, or the longer the gym has been around, right? It's more stable.
Yeah, and it's more beneficial to them, because as I kind of explained, it's like, I want to make sure that the students, the beginners, get the attention they need.
Definitely.
So that they can get better. But I also want to make sure my pros and my more advanced guys also don't have to constantly have to feel like they're working with these beginners. So I want to make sure my advanced guys get the attention they need, and say for the beginners. So yes, and you know, you'll feel it out. Of course, I have sometimes where, you know, somebody comes in, if they have wrestled before, if they've done MMA before, then fine. You know what I mean? Or I have some people that have experience and they come in and they don't know their ass for their foot, you know, like and so you sit there, they come in and I go, hey, you know, I'm sorry, at the moment I'm not accepting beginners of this level. I recommend this gym. You guys, you know, go over there instead. And it's good for gyms in the area as a whole.
For sure.
So what you do in Dublin is like every 8 weeks you start a beginner's course.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like,
so they have a waiting list for them.
Yeah. So you do, like, we have a sign up. Each group starts every 2 months, basically.
Nice.
And also part of the motivation for this too was exactly like I was saying as well. You know, your group started at this time. You know, everybody in this group knows X, Y, and Z, and we can keep building. And then once they finish this 8 weeks, what we do is either you can repeat the cycle one more time if you want to get the cycle of those 8 weeks again. Okay, you can do it. Or if, like you said, you get some guys are brave, they're athletic, they played other sports. I want to go straight to the more advanced class. Okay, go. You have those more timid people, are a bit more nervous. Not stay, do it again if you want. and you can repeat the cycle 2 times if you like. But yeah, it was kind of based off of that motivation of just making it easier both for the coach and for the students, because everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, it's more welcoming for them, like they don't feel so threatened, right?
Bro,
like,
Irish people are super self-conscious, like super self-conscious. Everybody doesn't want to be the crappy guy, I don't want to be the guy who sucks and I don't know what's going on and everyone else knows. So when you put everyone, no guys, look, you're all going to start at the same time. Nobody knows anything. We're all on this exact same page. I feel like it made people feel way more comfortable with that dynamic, because like you said, some people are so nervous when they. It's understandable.
It is like jiu-jitsu gym can be like intimidating sometimes at the first, right? You're like, I'm gonna learn fight, but people are gonna smash me there. So if the beginner has a safe environment and welcoming them, I think like it's pretty easy for them to develop too.
I think it also gives you that team feel, because my thing too is I also don't want to be a McDojo, and get that feeling where you walk in, there's so many people, you can't get to know each other. It's like physically impossible, and it's just always a new person. So instead, have that feeling where we're beating each other up, we're doing all this kind of stuff, but at the same time we're a team and we know each other and we're helping each other and doing all that stuff.
100%.
And if you have just everybody new constantly, it just has that feeling of it's just McDojo or something like that. So I kind of like that feeling of we're all gonna hang out, and I think that's what makes our guys so many teams that do this kind of stuff so much better, is that I'm entrusting you with my limb, and we've hung out before, we've had beers together, we've done this kind of stuff, and then we're willing to make mistakes and try new things, and it's not just some guy I don't know that's wild and going crazy.
Of course.
I'm so head right now.
I think too that like this, especially for hobbyists, athletes, we can get onto that in a minute, but in general, like your average person is practicing. Of course, they want to learn to fight, they want to get fit, they want to stay in shape. But man, the community element of it, people being friends, like I've had, similar to you, I've had my gym in Dublin for 15 years, and now we have in Spain, and I'm not so much in Dublin anymore. But this gym is so well established. There's groups of people who've been friends for 10 years. Yeah. They see these people more than they see their friends outside of jiu-jitsu, and they just want to go see their friends, hang out, have a bit of community, socialize, and get a workout and learn something too. But like this element, like you said, feeling like you're part of a community or feeling like you're part of something, it's way more important than just the coach is a badass and he won all these tournaments. It's like if there's not a good atmosphere and there's not this like you don't feel like you're a part of something, you're not going to keep coming back,
And I think it helps also police safety, and not just injury wise. But
I get you.
You can have people that can be creepers, and to know that after a while, instead of just having a mass amount of people in there, it helps you get to know the person, make sure they're a good person that you can trust rolling with the ladies and doing this sort of thing,
Do you have MMA fighters in your gym too?
Yeah. I will never have an MMA gym. It is. I make it a point. I do not.
Okay, it's a different energy, right?
It's a different energy. Yeah, guys can be a hot mess. A lot of them just. You have to have some issues to get punched in the face for a living.
Definitely not a training partner for a beginner, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And so dealing with some of the drama that goes behind that.
Oh yeah.
I will work with MMA fighters. Or I have guys, and a big thing too. I won't just work with an MMA fighter. If somebody comes to my gym, I like the guy. I know I can help them and all that kind of stuff with their jiu-jitsu. I explain to them I don't do camps. I don't do that. If you want me to help you and want to train jiu-jitsu at our gym and you think it's going to be beneficial and I think it's going to be beneficial,
I get you.
You need to join the team. And by that I mean I don't care if you have a fight coming up. You need to train regularly with us. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to be part of the team, represent the team, and be part of that. Because I just don't, and not just pop in when you have a camp suddenly that you're going to train for. But to invest in those guys and stuff like that, and it's pretty cool, man, to see some of those, and then some of the guys being, the in the mindset they are, in the MMA scene, the behind the scenes of MMA is just wild and crazy and all that kind of stuff, and to see how much that's actually calmed and helps them realize, man, it does matter who I am and how I treat people.
For sure.
And now it's a bigger picture of I'm taking care of a team, and actually and beneficial I think too for the fact of it actually works. Not just that I'm trying to make people, help the gym grow and do all that kind of stuff, but it actually works when you have somebody that's willing to slow down. There's a lot of MMA gyms, everybody's a punching bag, right? Just go in there, beat everybody
I feel like it's way more competitive, as in you don't have the same necessarily team type feeling of like everyone help each other. Any MMA environments I've been in, everybody's kind of a bit more selfish and a bit more like in it for themselves. And the sparring, it's way more like, much more like a competition than a training, I feel like. And I think too that what I've noticed with like the difference between people who start MMA and people who start jiu-jitsu, people who start jiu-jitsu just start off on a whim of like, let me try this hobby. Yeah, and then they end up doing like tournaments and doing competitions, traveling and doing all this. Whereas like we have a couple of MMA classes in our gym in Spain. Every single guy who shows up to do MMA class is like, yeah, I'm going to fight. I want to be a fighter. I'm going to do this.
I want to do UFC.
Yeah, and it's you don't even see them 2 weeks later, you know? It's like they show up with this intention of, yeah, I'm going to fight. I'm going to do this and that. And then jiu-jitsu people, it's just some casual dad who has kids and doesn't even think about competing. Yeah. Turns up just as a hobby and then turns into someone who actually does competitions all the time and ends up doing more fighting than the guy who showed up saying
they want to do the MMA, right?
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it is, yes. I had the same experience in Spain also, like guys arriving like, super excited at the beginning. I want to do this, I want to do that, and I want to do definitely MMA. I'm like, okay, so go boxing first, go jiu-jitsu first. After a few months, you can talk, right?
Yeah.
Don't
2
see
months
him.
later, no.
Don't see him, yeah.
No.
And then by the complete opposite, like some of the over the years and years, some of the people who have actually gone from white to black belt with me, it's like the person who I would joke with the other coach is like, no way this guy is going to keep doing it, you know?
Right.
Like this guy, no way, so uncoordinated. He's never going to keep doing it. 15 years later, guy's still there. He's a black belt, trains every single day. It's like some of the ones you least expect end up actually doing the most.
I think that's pretty much the mentality, right? They want to learn, not win. Like, of course, the winning is going to be a consequence of how much you learn. But if you go to as a mentality of learning, you're going to
definitely
get.
So hence it being beneficial for the MMA fighter, not even just for but for the MMA fighter to stop and go, I have a team I got to care about.
Yeah.
And then it allows them to slow down and actually go, okay, let me help you with this technique, or let me learn it myself, and not just.
And it's okay. It's okay to lose.
Yeah.
We're just training.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, the word is training. You know, we're just training. It's not a competition. It's still, you want to be losing here so that you don't lose, especially MMA fight, bro. Whatever about losing jiu-jitsu competition, losing an MMA fight, it's a brutal experience, and I can say that from my own personal experience of having some terrible MMA fights back in the day. So it's not the same thing, you know. It's a harsher reality, you know. But and I guess I don't know. Maybe we can move on to, I don't know how much time we have left. Like 10 minutes. The difference between like coaching competitors, I guess, to coaching hobbyists, maybe. Yeah.
So I mean, I would just kind of feel we're kind of going that direction as well, but. Again, you'll have those competitors, and if you can teach those competitors that, like, hey, like when it's time to fight, let's fight, you know, and let's do that. But also how to slow down, and my big thing, articulate what you're doing. You know, so if we're back to the competitors and stuff like that, but can you slow down and know why you do what you do, and not just you go and you go crazy and that guy fell off your back. Well, how come he doesn't fall off your back?
Yep.
You know, so then they have to slow down and go, okay, I actually break this grip and I actually do this stuff, and they actually learn that stuff better by now drilling in a class, working with this guy that, you know, has work on Monday, training with him, and they have to actually take the time and train and learn at his level, and then that fighter actually gets better because now he's slowing down, he has to take care of him, he can't just throw him off his back, he has to fight and figure out hooks.
I think that's a culture thing, right? It's like, if your culture, it's that style of everybody's helping each other and everyone's trying to learn and get better. And obviously we want to be competitive. We want to train hard, but we're paying attention. We're asking questions. We're doing it like this versus if everybody's just kind of crazy and wild like that, the culture kind of becomes crazy and wild. And I don't know, it just breeds one thing after another, right? It's like if you're managing that environment and someone comes in like with that type of attitude and you're slowing them down, hey, no, we need to think about what we're doing. It kind of creates that culture of everybody on the same page, right? It's like I don't like allowing that type of thing to breed, you know, because it'll just repeat itself or create different groups within the academy, and you know, that's, as your gym gets bigger, that's definitely something very hard to manage, you know. Yeah,
I think a huge part of having a gym is keeping that culture, so that average Joe feels comfortable, and like we were saying before, then it gets to the point where you have that guy that you're like, he's probably gonna quit. Actually gets really good because then he's, you know, he has these guys at this high level, so then after a while his level kind of goes up and those guys roll with him at that level, then his level goes up a little bit and those guys will raise that level, and then the whole room just gets better. I
feel personally the hardest thing with dealing with athletes is, and this is something I've grown very tired of over the years, is everybody thinks they want to, it's easy to say you want to win something, right? It's easy to say like, I want to win this or I want to win that. But actually like day to day, consistently doing the things that the person needs to do to get to that point. And it takes a lot of energy as the coach to manage that, and I spent many years messaging people, hey, where are you? Why are you late? Are you coming? We have a tournament this weekend. Are you signed up? Are you on wait? Blah, blah, blah. Like, there's so much emotional management that comes in from the coach's side that nowadays I've learned so much more to back away. And if I don't see it coming from the athlete's side, I'm only putting in as much as you put in. I'm not babying anybody anymore. I'm not going after anybody like this, because if it's not intrinsic, the motivation, if it's not coming from you and you're there doing it because you want to be there, then I have a family now, I have kids. I'm saving my energy for them. I don't have time to get over some lazy guy. Hey, why aren't you awake? Why aren't you here? Why aren't you doing what you need to do? And that's one thing I found the hardest thing over the years was dealing with athletes in inverted commas who have this type of like lazier attitude, but still will complain when they don't get the results they want.
Right. Oh yeah, because that lack of discipline, like everybody wants to win, everybody wants to be a champion, but who wants to pay the price of actions, right?
Yep.
To lead you towards that 100%. Goal. Like it's very hard to. It's sad also because you don't want to demotivate the person. Yep. And you want to keep them up, but also you're like come on, man.
I think I've just got better over the years of being a bit more honest insofar as, let's say we go to a tournament and I feel like there's been somebody who maybe hasn't done exactly what they needed to do. And they have their matches and they end up losing and they're upset or they're crying or they're sad. Back in the day, I would have been much more like trying to console them or trying to do whatever. Whereas nowadays, I'm much more on the side of, man, look, you don't really deserve to cry, you know? Like, you didn't do what needs to be done. You know, if you do what needs to be done, and we come back to this tournament next year and you lose, then you can cry because you did what needs to be done. But I don't feel sorry for you, you know? Like, and I'm trying to help you as a coach, but you shouldn't be feeling sorry for yourself right now, you know? Like, maybe you should be sad that you didn't do the work that needs to be done. But, you know, I've gotten a bit more mature with this. Before I wouldn't have wanted to like hurt people's feelings, I suppose. But I guess as you coach more and more, you become more mature and you're able to be a bit more honest with what it is that you want from the athlete. And if you don't like what I'm telling you, well, then you don't have to be under me. If you want somebody else who's going to give you that, I'm just trying to give you the best for you and what I think in my experience is what you need to hear. And sometimes that's something that you don't want to hear, right?
No, it's not easy to be the listener to this point, right?
Yeah.
It's the other side.
And I think, you know, you kind of brought it up as well, but the idea of how much it takes as a coach, and especially when you have a decent sized team and you have all that stuff and you invest so much, not into just competitors, but also people suffering from depression and, you know, veterans and all this kind of stuff, you know, and you're pulled in so many different directions. And so kind of learning to kind of keep yourself and not let yourself, you know, I love people, and I think that's what helps with the gym and doing stuff like that, because even people's crazy quirks that drive me crazy, I appreciate it. I actually kind of appreciate people for their goofiness and there's certain things like that, and love dealing with people. I've always been an outgoing kind of guy, but more and more having a gym for this long, you know, weekend happens, my wife's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to stay home. Yeah. Like, I just, you know, it takes a lot out of us, and I don't think a lot of people necessarily realize, you know, everybody wants to be a coach.
Well, everybody only sees their interaction with you. So you have 200 people. Everybody is just thinking of my relationship with James. You know, right. I see James and that's it. They don't see James versus the other 200 people, and you trying to deal with, manage all of this on top of be a fucking business owner, make money and all this type of stuff too. So it's like everyone just sees their particular one relationship with you, and they don't see your relationship with every other person. And I think that's one of the hardest parts for us is to stay on top of that.
It would be a whole nother topic, and I don't know if we have time for this and stuff, but at first one of the things they mentioned is, you know, kind of talking about, but what it's like trying to build a gym and make a successful gym and all that stuff. And it's crazy is because I've seen people far more talented athletically with jiu-jitsu and all that kind of stuff than myself, and their gym falls apart because maybe they're not charismatic or they're not good people or understand how to organize and do that sort and put up with all those stresses of all those kind of things. Then I've seen other people that are very, you know, charismatic and do all that kind of stuff, but not really kind of have the jiu-jitsu to build a team and to do that kind of stuff. You know, I think you have to kind of be that mix of where you can hold it down and build a level and try to, you know, and at least represent to keep that level. But you also have to be level-headed and understand how to work with people and how to do that kind of stuff. And I have some guys that are amazing athletes. They deal with some demons and stuff like that. And they're like, you know, but they're like, man, I want to open a gym. And I'm like, take care of your demons, man. Like take care of your stresses, whether it was, you know, veterans or any other kind of stuff like this. Because if anything's going to pull that out, it's going to be dealing with multiple personalities and other people.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to have yourself, at least in the state of mind where you can pull yourself out of a situation, not think of it emotionally, organize and take care of that situation, and then go back into it. Because if not, man, if you have problems drinking, whatever it may be, man, owning a gym will pull you right back into that.
Yeah, 100%. It's always like it's not just to show a technique every day, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like how you're gonna manage like a relationship with other students and parents, right?
Yeah.
No, 100%. And people, like, in the same vein, people only see that part. They just see, Rafa just show up and he show a few moves. What a job, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, all you got to do is show up here and show fucking armbar. That's it. Wow, fuck, I would love to do that. And it's like, bro, there's so much more to it than that. And I feel like, again, like what you just said there, my wife is definitely much more like a emotional like type responder. And she's always saying to me, like, she's like, fuck, like I'm so impressed with sometimes how, because I know what you think about this,
right,
but you don't act like what you really think. Exactly. Yeah. And it's like the way you can like deal with some of the students and the things that happen and just like pull your actual, your I suppose your like personal opinion or your personal thought on something or a certain situation and just deal with it in a certain professional type of manner. Because she's like, I just want to fucking tell that guy, fuck you, you know? Like,
and luckily having my wife, I think, has the same way where she'll just like, oh my goodness, it gets, you know, like it affects her differently. I think is good and helped me keep my sanity through the years of her actually kind of helping me realize we gotta have our time. We gotta have, you know, time where not even just for me and her, of course, but even for myself, you know, to decompress.
Of course, man.
And so you can give your best and do that kind of stuff. And I think early on, if it wasn't for my wife, I probably wouldn't have figured that out and just burn yourself to the ground dealing with everybody else. And you know, and so you have to actually.
I don't know about you guys, but over like the last couple of years, especially, I found more fun having like other hobbies outside of jiu-jitsu for this exact reason, just to like pull me away from everything. Because I spent years and years, the exact same as you guys, go to a tournament, go back to training, watch jiu-jitsu matches, go to a tournament, listen to a jiu-jitsu podcast, fucking, you know, just jiu-jitsu. Whereas like now, man, I like to watch soccer. I like to, you know, go to concerts, do some things that it's just, like you said, complete detachment. No one's going to talk to me about jiu-jitsu here. This is nothing to do with anything.
I'm allowed to not be good at it.
Exactly.
It's something I can master again, and I'm allowed to suck at this.
Exactly.
Like,
I've found a lot of...
Becoming a white belt again, right? It's something like a learning, and it's very good to keep your mental health, right? Like
100%. I find this like type of thing like really, really much more enjoyable nowadays. Whereas before I would have felt like I'm losing time, you know, like I can't. No, if someone's doing something that's not jiu-jitsu, they're wasting their time. Whereas now I'm like, actually, it helps me to when I come back to training or come back to coaching. I'm more relaxed. I'm a bit more chill. I feel like I have a bit of a better balance in my coaching and in my own training too, you know, that I'm not just like super hyper focused on it like I would have been. I think there's a benefit to that too, you know, for a certain period of your life. But yeah, how are we doing for time? We're okay?
Nice.
So yeah, thanks guys for the chat. I really enjoyed it.
We'll have to do this again to find out what everybody's hobbies are now that keep us sane.
Yeah, hey, that's
the next
next time. Tune in.
Same time next week.
Same bat channels. Same bad time, same bad channel.